Are you in the market for one of the most extreme off-road beach accessible power chairs on the market today? Well, stay tuned to this video review. Hey, I'm Alex from Marc's Mobility. In this video, we're going to show you an XT4. The manufacturer is Magic Mobility, but Sunrise Medical, large company in the US, owns the rights. So you might see a couple variations in the titles, but there is only one XT4 on the market. And I want to mention as well, towards the end of this video, we're going to show you outside what this thing can truly do. There's not many units on the market that are able to do what this unit can do, so stay tuned. Later in this video, you will see that. Also, these are going to be customized chairs as well, so they're going to be different seat options and different prices based on the different seat functions, because it is going to be a builder chair. So if you are looking for something like that, you can go down below in the description. We'll probably have a link on our website, or you can give us a call. We'd love to speak with you. Now, before I get any farther, I just want to go ahead, and what makes this unit unique is this is a true 4x4 power chair. So each one of these low profile or low PSI knobby tires are going to have a 700-watt motor tied to each tire. So it is going to be one of what I can think of about 3 or 4 different chairs currently on the market that is going to be fully beach accessible. And what I mean by that is in the softest of sand like we have down here in our Florida beaches, this is going to have no problem tracking right through that type of terrain. So if that's where you want to go in the woods, you want to go in some variations of snow, also depending on the, how much snow you have, this is going to be one of the best chairs on the market. You are going to have a 4-inch ground clearance, and you're also going to have a top end speed at 6.2 miles per hour. Now, what's also great is this is only going to have a 55.5-inch turning radius. So that is a very small turning radius for the size of this unit, and not even size of the unit. Most of the units like this, they had a previous version that they still make called the X8. And the X8 did not turn and perform quite like this. It had the same power and motors, but kind of the way in the steering is what is going to separate this, the suspension and the steering, over the previous version of the X8. So once again, 55.5-inch turning radius. Now you are able to get this unit with a seat lift, electric tilt, electric recline, electric legs. I believe this unit has all of them on it, but it's a builder chair, so you can get any of those types of functions on the unit. Standard on the unit is going to have built-in tie-down points and the light package. So it is pretty good lights that I will show you here in this video. Once again, when you turn the joystick on, you'll see it says Quickie across the screen. That is due to it being the Sunrise Medical. That's the Quickie, one of their model brands. And so that's why it says it on there. But just note, these are from Australia, the Magic Mobility company. So you'll see the lights. You do have lights in the front, and you do also have tail lights in the back. And then I also believe you're going to have your hazards, and you're also going to have turn signals. So you are going to have that. That is going to be standard on the unit. It is going to come with Group 31 batteries, which is, you might see 27, you might see 31. It's basically a 100 amp hour battery. So what that means is they say somebody is able to get up to 19 miles on a full charge. Now, like other brands out there just like this, that is not going to be 19 miles when you're fully off-road or you're in thick sand when you're really straining the motors. That is probably going to be more on a flat type grass. That's a pretty flat surface. So that's why I always like to mention that up to, because I don't want somebody calling back and saying, hey, I got 12 or 13 miles. That's going to depend on the weight and the terrain that you are driving with this unit. Now the unit, if you don't have any electrical seat functions on it, you are able to be at 400-pound weight capacity. Once you add a tilt or an elevate to the unit, you are only going to be capped at a 350-pound weight capacity. So This unit here is a particular type of seat on there. This is a customized type seat that has like a J back, kind of with cane mounts back here is what they would call that. But you are able to get different types of seats, but the base would stay the same. They're going to have different color variations. This one, I mean, very patriotic, and the American flag that goes across it, but there are going to be different color options for the base and different seat options as well. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you some of the electrical functions on here. First function I'm going to show you is going to be the electric seat lift. Before I raise it up, I want to give you a couple of specs as well. So I'm going to measure to the actual metal pan, which looks like it's about, this one's currently set at 19 inches to the pan. But there are a couple different seat to ground heights when they are custom building this chair, so they are able to set it. I believe it's 18, 19, and 20, or it might be 17, 18, 19, but you can look on the order form as well, and it will show you what those measurements are of pan to ground height. And just remember, it's a removable cushion on some of these seats, so that's why it's a variable height based on the thickness of your cushion. So that's why I'm going to measure to the pan. Some people have a 5-inch cushion, some people have a 2-inch cushion, so that's obviously going to change the top of the seat to the ground height, but the pan to ground height should always stay consistent. I do also believe it said that 6.2 miles an hour was the top end speed when you were all the way in the down position. It's about 3.1 is going to be the speed when you're in the elevated position. So once again, you are able to still drive it at this elevated seat position. And if I was to measure the ground to the pan now, I would say you're closer to 31 inches. So yeah, you're probably at that close to 12-inch type seat lift on this unit here. So let me double check that measurement. Yes, sir. About 12 inches of a seat elevation on it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring the seat back down. Many options you can get with this chair. This one has a swing away joystick on it. So you can actually swing the joystick to the side so you can pull up closer to a table. But that is also an optional upgrade. It also has the switch box right here behind the joystick. Once again, when you're building these, you can add that to it, but it's not standard. That's going to allow you to do the functions right here through the buttons behind the joystick, but you are able to go into the profile and do everything through the joystick. So that's not a necessary piece. It's just a nice accessory to have on the unit. Next thing I'm going to show you is going to be, let's go with the electric tilt. So tilt does have medical reasons why somebody would use the tilt, but it's also going to help you stay in the unit if you are going down some types of slopes that are a little bit steeper. You are able to still drive it at a certain, I mean, this one's programmed to drive even really far tilted. You would not probably be in this position ever really with driving the chair. It'd be hard to see, but you could slope it back some to be able to, like I said, counter that downward slope that you might be incurring. So outside of that, electric tilt also takes the pressure off the lower half of your body and applies it to your back. So what that's doing is it's taking the blood flow and increasing it to the lower half of your body, which could help alleviate some type of pressure sores on the body. From there, you're also going to have electric legs that is going to be adjustable in height, but we'll kind of get that measurements from you. We would send you a measuring chart. We would have you measure, because since these are custom built, we would get it fit exactly to your size. But these are going to be your electric legs. You just imagine if you have somebody that needs to get their feet above their heart, you are able to do that in that position. Once again, you don't have to have your feet all the way up, but even having your feet somewhat up when you're driving this chair could be a really beneficial thing to do, because you got to think you don't want to jar the feet into, if you're going down on a steeper slope, kicking your legs up and tilting back a little bit would help give you a little more clearance underneath the legs. Now do remember, this is going to have a 4-inch ground clearance at the motors. Middle of the chair where the battery compartment is, it's 5 inches. So if you are going to go over, whether it's a tree root, make sure it's not over 4 inches of just a stump. Obviously a vertical root, horizontal root would not be as big of an issue because you're going to climb over that. But the battery compartment where you could bottom out is 5 inches. So once again, big high root. If you were to go over it, go over a curb, people are going to ask me, can you go over a curb? It's going to depend on how high the curb is, because if it's under 5 inches, I would say yes on a curb. If it's under that or over that, then I would say no, you're going to bottom out and be like kind of a teetering on that curb. But this is going to be with just the legs up, and then I'm going to do now the recline. So the last function on here is going to be recline, which is pretty straightforward. Recline is just the seat back going backwards so that you're able to get into a little bit more of a flat position. We'll see how far this one goes back. There are different degrees of how far these units can go back. Some are a complete lay flat, but let's see when this one goes all the way back what we kind of get to here. Once again, that is a custom headrest, custom back on there, so it's not a completely 180 degree lay flat back, but it is going to be flat enough that somebody would feel comfortable sleeping in this position here. On the box itself, you actually can do the recline and the back. There is one single button to do both at the same time. So just for video purposes, I'm going to speed it up and kind of do those both at the same time. Now this arms do flip up on both sides for easy access. So they just lift up. They do lift almost all the way out of the way. Here on this chair, they upgraded and they put some leg laterals to keep the person's knees from swinging outwards. So what could happen is if your knee swings out and you're bouncing around, you're probably going to be driving this in some more all-terrain type areas. This is going to help your knees from flailing out, which would help keep your feet on the foot plate. Now you do have the curved calf pads back here on this model, so that would help some, but combining the curved calf pads and also these lateral knee supports, that's going to kind of help keep your feet more on the foot plate. I don't know particularly, I have to look on the order form. This is a dual foot plate that does each individually flip up. They used to have a single foot plate, so once again, if you're ordering, just look on the order form. That will be up to date on what they currently offer on this chair. Now, a couple other specs I want to go over with you on this unit. I talked about the large knobby air tires on here. They are a 14-inch, depends on which way you look at it, but I'm going to say 14-inch tall tire by 5 inches in width. So it is a good size, low PSI tire on the unit. They might look like the same tires as on the X8s, but I think the wheel hub is different, so they're not interchangeable. And I will tell you, getting those tires off, you might as well take it to a motorcycle shop or just order the tire with the rim. It is not an easy process. Now, width of the unit, as long as you don't have a really wide seat on here, wheelbase is 27.5 inches in width. The length, a little bit tricky. They're going to tell you 39.5 inches long. That does not include the foot plate. So just for example, if they're going to tell you 39.5 inches, but you have a 10 inches for the foot plate sticks out past the front wheel, you're really closer to 50 inches of what you're actually at on the overall length of the unit. So I just want to make sure you understand that. That shouldn't matter too much, maybe if you're loading it in a vehicle, but the foot plates do flip up. So then you could get it down to that 39.5 inches. But this chair is not going to be an indoor everyday type chair. This is an off-road extreme power chair. And I'm going to go ahead outside now and I'm going to film some videos that will really kind of show you and test the capabilities of this power chair.
Hi, I'm Mark.
And my name is Alex. We're co-owners of Marc's Mobility.
I started this company in 1995.
We sell many products, not just what you see in this video. If you have any questions or concerns, please call us at the number below at 800-677-6293. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.